In other words, they're billing me for the salaries only. That's all we're paying for is just the salaries. We don't pay for the insurance.
Uh, but my question is, was that stimulus money that the city received?
I don't know. It was just a budget item that
I
was
guess my
agreed
next
to
question, my
in
next question
September and
would be,
October.
my next question would be, if the city receives more stimulus money, if they receive some, and that's where we got that income, could we go ahead and ask them for funds to kind of make up the $20,800 that we're going to take out of reserves?
That's not a question for me to answer. I guess Sherry would have to go to the city council and request that. I don't know if they're considering our contribution as stimulus, part of the stimulus. I don't know that.
Okay.
I think it does qualify according to, because that CARES money, stimulus money does cover lost revenue as a result of COVID. So certainly the decrease in hot tax does qualify for that. I know that city executive staff has a running wish list of different projects to fund with the money that the city sees as a result of that. And with this, this new package that's coming forth at the beginning of this week, I did receive an email of a meeting to be had in the future where we revisit that list on the city side. We can certainly ask for more because I don't think anybody was anticipating this second run. But in so much as if the subsidy that we are currently receiving is a result of that first CARE stimulus, there's really no way to know with or without any kind of CARE stimulus the city had agreed to pull from general funds to subsidize us. It very well may be, but I don't know if they're keeping track of it that way.
And Jack, I want to just mention, we have not pulled from reserves yet, and
Right.
we're doing okay cash flow wise. It's going to be, honestly, part of our budget issues in the last few years have been repairs on our building that are unanticipated, like big air conditioning repairs, and we had to replace a bunch of windows and things like that. The fact that they have agreed to cover those kind of things may get us to the point where we don't have, I'm just guessing here. I don't know that for sure, but it is something to consider that we may not be pulling that from reserves. And I think we would probably, in order to have an argument to go back and get more money from them, we would have to show that we are going from reserves. I don't think they're going to agree to it.
I have one other question and I'll get off. We're showing income of 21,000. We're showing expenses of 58,000 for a deficit of 37,000 for the month of February. If I look at the other financial positions, in January, we had cash and savings of 99,000. In February, it was 64,000. So I'm assuming we made up that 37,000 out of our checking account, did we not?
Everything has come through the checking. Yes, we.
Okay.
And I mean, nothing is. I have not pulled from reserves at all. Part of that's why it's really hard to look at this by the month because of the income coming from the city is so staggered right now. Like I got a whole bunch in 10 days in March and then didn't get anything for 30 days before that. It's real awkward right now. Part of this is communication between me and Pam. Part of it, I can tell you, I don't have the amounts for health insurance, dental insurance, and utilities for January and February in there. She has not given them to me yet. It's only through December. So actually, those go into our contribution account and have nothing to do with our cash flow. Because what that means is it's an expense on our budget that doesn't ever involve our cash. So this is all kind of weird this year. We have to, what they decided to do, Pam thought it was a good idea to keep our budget the same as it has been because the city has all intents and purposes of giving us back the position we were in before. They don't want to do this forever. I think that's their plan when they made this agreement. So we kept the budget intact so that when we go into the next year's planning, we'll know how much utilities are and how much health insurance is. We need to know those things in order to plan for next year.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, if there's no other questions on the financials, I will entertain a motion to approve the financials for February.
I make a motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of approving the financials for January and February, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Or, put your thumbs up or something, nature. All right, very good. We will move on to our staff reports, and I will turn it over to our Executive Director, Ms. Morgan.
Good morning, everybody. The first item is a move towards Visit NAC. We had this discussion probably my second year here, into my second year, about keeping Nacogdoches Convention and Visitors Bureau as our DBA name, doing business name, but moving towards changing our social media is all Visit Nacogdoches, but using that as our name moving forward. And that's following in trend with other destinations, what they're doing, and with this sort of organic pause that the pandemic has offered us, as well as our 25th anniversary. This seems to be like a good mark in time to make that switch over to, and we'd still, for legal purposes, for financial purposes, we would still maintain Nacogdoches Convention and Visitors Bureau. But in all of our other business with the public, how the public will perceive us would be Visit Nacogdoches.
Okay, and Sherry, that's a move that is, as you said, is quite common now that cities go. But it's just to make us easier to find, so you don't have to spell things out. Nacogdoches is, if you're not from here, it's hard to say, much less spell. So that is a common move, and I've went through and tried to pull up different cities by just using the visit and whatever the city is to see, how common that is and it's across the board. I found I put in visit whatever, and I found it instantly. So it is a move that we need to make sure that we're on. Okay.
And again, it doesn't really doesn't make a tremendous amount of change for us. There's not going to be much, if any, cost in making that switch over. It's changing out the subtitle of our logo, and we don't maintain paper stationery anymore, so those are digital. And like I said, our social media handles are already reflective of that, and how the public perceives us is already reflective of that. So if we could entertain a motion from board to show board approval with that move.
Okay. Certainly entertain I motion we move towards the Visit NAC.
John, this is Shirley. I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, thumbs up or aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay. The next item is thoughts on a move towards membership-based. Again, because of the pause, the organic pause of the pandemic, and the benchmark of 25 years in existence, we refer to our lodging properties, we refer to a lot of people as our partners, but that is really a one-sided relationship. And there are several destinations that do have more of a dual partnership by qualified members, some kind of value proposition that's exchanged between us and the other party. And I just wanted to open up a discussion on what that could look like for us if that was a decision that we decided to move forward with. So basically there would be sort of a quid pro quo involved for somebody to be referred to as our partner and partner listings on our website. We would put a monetary value on that, but we could also utilize that monetary value to an exchange of goods or services that are equal to that monetary value. And that would allow us, so just for example, Naka Valley, if they wanted to be a partner with Visit Nacogdoches, it would be $250 a year or some combination of product and financial or services or things that would equal that $250 moving forward. So when it comes time for us to do giveaways or put together packages or things like that, we now have an inventory in-house of things that we can pull from, and that would eliminate extra staff time sort of chasing things down on a case-by-case basis. It would allow us to position ourselves more proactively instead of reactively, which would be a benefit to such a small staff. And it would also acknowledge the value of our services. So it is unbelievable, but it was the same in Conroe as it is here. And I think it's, from discussions with my peers, it's sort of universal. It's hard for people to understand our intentions when we go and ask them to let us help them market things, because it's always, well, what's in it for you? They don't really understand that our services are free. We're not charging you anything, because we just live in a society that if your services are free, they're not as good as services that you have to pay for, kind of thing. Like it's backwards. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to open up that discussion. So we would be looking at our lodging partners, restaurants, businesses, individuals could qualify to be partners. And as we start to reevaluate and possibly shift over website providers, then there could be a partner section. And that partner section, we would know that those people have entered into an agreement of an exchange of services or of things of value with Visit Nacogdoches to sort of enhance tourism for our destination.
A question, as you allow people to come in and you're going to charge them money for our partnership, that opens up the fact that they have the right to either make or contribute decisions that we make. Is that not correct? You've got to provide an avenue, since they are paying partners, for them to provide input in what we do. Am I wrong in that, or?
Well, if I may, I think, Sherry, is this going to be more of a targeted? Let's say you target restaurants, and then we for partners, and then we have some campaign that we promote as part of our tourism package, these restaurants based on the participation from those restaurants. So it would only apply to maybe that specific thing. I don't, and from that standpoint, we present our partners with, hey, this is our idea for doing X. Would you like to contribute and be a part of this? As opposed to a blanket, you're partner with CVB and here's a seat on the board kind of a thing. Is that, I guess, clarify that a little bit, I think is what is.
Sure. Yeah, it wouldn't involve anything with a board position or things like that. And I think we dabbled in it before I got here and when I first got here. So those lodging partners that fall outside of the city limits and therefore don't remit hotel occupancy tax, we were charging them $250 for a presence on our website, and that covered our cost of marketing for them. Um, Rarely, I think Cheryl had to hop out, or she's still there, but it was like pulling teeth to get those people to pay $250 for a year's worth of marketing them, um, which is insanely cheap and affordable in terms of marketing. So it would be an extension of that. I think we could set forth the agreement, Dr. Jack, to answer your question of um, these paid partners have maybe an enhanced listing on our website. You know, we could certainly draw some very clear boundaries of what that partnership allows you to do. And there would be no need for that partnership to edge into the operations of our, of our entity.
So,
Just be in that marketing arm.
Sherry, so how about would it be like on Yelp or TripAdvisor when you are listed on that site as a hotel on TripAdvisor or on Yelp as a restaurant, but you can also have the opportunity to have an enhanced listing where then you show up, as you said, in a different category, or have an enhanced presence on that. So that's more of what you're talking about? And I know in that regards, Yelp or TripAdvisor, they present you with, this is what this enhanced listing includes. Would you like to be part of it or not? And then that's basically the extent of your input is, yes, okay, so I want more looks. I want more views. I want to be known as a part. It's an enhanced sponsorship. So
Yeah, and they could get so many, X amount of social media postings and maybe a 360 video tour of their property, that sort of value, just to, to help them reach out more to their target base.
I guess probably the term partner to me, and that you work together and they have some input in what you're doing. But what I'm saying is we're selling a service.
I'm sorry, Dr. Jack, your mic bumped up then.
Well, the word partnership to me implies something more than what we're designed to do is to sell them a service. And the partnership, the thing that I was asking about, you've explained it.
Okay, so maybe with different, calling it something different than a partnership, but maybe moving towards what John was talking about with enhanced listings or.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. And at least then I think one of the benefits in it is it's sort of, people have a vested interest at that point. If they're paying for this, then it would be easier to get their input as opposed to reaching out and asking for their headcount numbers during an emergency when they don't have any stake. They don't have a dog in that game, is their perception, although we know that they do. But there's a buy-in, and so hopefully we can use that buy-in to really anchor and engage them in the process more than they're doing now with this sort of in name only kind of thing that doesn't have any meat to it. So I'm fine, staff is fine to move at board direction with this if we want to sit on it a little longer and think about it, or
well, Sherry, can we put something together for like a presentation so we can present it to the board next time and it be clearly defined of
sure.
This is, so we move forward with this idea. We fleshed out a little bit.
Absolutely.
I agree with John. I'd like to see maybe how we would present, how we'd be presenting, but a presentation, you know, I mean, not a major presentation. You presented us a lot of your idea already, but just also in there showing us what we would be, literally what we would be offering, and literally what, you know, sort of the maybe a mock-up of marketing materials that we would use to attract these partners.
Got it.
We can get in, so, because you know, I'm understanding it from our perspective, but I want to kind of try and see how it's going to look from their perspective.
Okay.
Before I guess, you know, we make the final decision to move forward with it, but it sounds like a great idea.
Okay, I'll prepare that for our next meeting then. The third thing under my report is a change in scope of work, and we've referenced this before. It did go before City Council, and City Council approved that the CVB will now become sort of event permitting dispatch. So we're the head of the spear. Whenever anybody wants to have an event, they will initiate that permitting process here at the CVB. And then the CVB will then dispatch the rest of that event through the city system of, are they going to need police barricades? Is it a park reservation? You know, do they need electrical, water, things like that? So that's kind of going to be in what we're what we're going to do. Joanna and Ashley and I are already receiving permits, applications, so to speak. And this is beneficial for several different reasons. It makes us a part of that process. So now we know every event that is going on in Nacogdoches, so we can use that to populate our calendar. We have the flexibility to ask these people putting on events, you know, is your date flexible? We can really sort of take a step back and look at the entire landscape of events. And instead of cramming everything in every weekend in October and November, you know, do you have the leniency to, you know, push things around so that we can have a more even, consistent feel across the entire calendar year. And then also it helps us sort of look at the types of programming. City Council voiced specifically that they want to see more cultural events and more music events that are taking place outdoors. So not acts at Bonita Creek, but outdoor concert type events and cultural events for some of our more underrepresented populations.
I love the idea of this. Now, this doesn't imply that it's going to require our funds to help advertise or promote or anything like that.
No, sir. No more than we already promote events once we get to know them. Our problem has always been people letting us know that events are happening. So it really does just sort of put us in a power position to be that, you know, that point person for the process. And then we can utilize it's information that we've been wanting and needing all this time. And now that's just built into the process. So, but it will not be any kind of financial burden whatsoever.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
And I'm curious on the events. We've had some stuff that kind of got started and then didn't really take off. And you know, one example was that Americana Fest that we had. I think that was around 2006 or 2007. And it was down there in Festival Park. They used the stage, Kiwanis stage, down there. And it was really fun and it was very well attended. And the Runnels were kind of on that. They were kind of the organizers of it. So we may want to check in with Shay and kind of and her remind us of what her experience with that was. And then also we just recently sponsored a bluegrass festival. And bluegrass isn't my thing so much, but I'm really for all music and everybody's taste getting satisfied. Through this, if we want to call it, I don't think it's a program yet, but would we be in a position to put on offer to groups that wanted to do? I mean, I guess we already are. I mean, could we cultivate groups to maybe do types of events like this in at that park, because it brings everybody kind of to the center of town and downtown, and it's such a nice space for it. And then perhaps offer ways to help. Like I think what we did was gave them money for a bigger sound system to rent that year. And I'd like to hear back from them how it went. And I think we covered it after the event. Since we're looking at music events again, was it successful? Could what they did provide a successful template for other people in town who want to do things like that? I think that with some of our existing music partners, Kevin White, I think he would be interested in being a part of making money hosting a music festival down there. It would be worth having a conversation with him. He has the apparatus to do all that and the connections to bring in country artists. Again, not necessarily my favorite type of music, but if we can get people downtown dancing, listening to music, having fun, spending money, that will accomplish our goal, and will also be accomplishing what the city council is asking us to do. Finally,
I'm sorry, Damon.
I was going to talk to Mike Koenig about it too.
I may be confused about what's being said here, but my impression is that what you're asking is that we're more of a facilitator, not necessarily a sponsor behind all of these events, but just you're processing the permits so that we're aware of everything that's going on and not necessarily a participant in all of this. Is that what the
Correct. Yeah. But what it does is sort of the Venn diagram. So now the CBD has this role in the city of Nacogdoches permitting process. What we're doing and what Joanna's been doing is looking for small meetings and events that would be of an interest to tourists. So there's a crossover there now. So both you and Damon are correct. Yes, Wanda, our role is as a facilitator and really like the police dispatch. So people come to us, we want to have Relay for Life. Joanna then takes that information and she makes sure that Acting Chief Weems in PD knows when that event is. Parks and Brian Bray and his people in Parks and Rec, that park that they want to have the Relay for Life in is open for that day. That all the entities, we dispatch out to all the city entities that need to know about that event. To go towards what Damon is stating, that also does allow Joanna, in her capacity as Director of Sales and Promotions for the CVB, for Visit Nacogdoches now, she can use her relationship with Kevin White and Mike Koenig to say, gosh, we have a big gaping hole in February, and then pull together players in the community that would have a vested interest and could make money, but we wouldn't have any financial, we honestly, we don't have the money to be a financial sugar daddy, I guess, to these events, but we certainly could find those mechanisms and just sort of help still facilitate, but now facilitating people and leveraging relationships. So yes to both of you, but a bigger yes to Wanda.
That makes sense. And I wasn't necessarily looking to put us in charge of it. I think Wanda and you put into clearer focus in that it could be something that Joanna could just do as part of her normal activities, like which is trying to host events and stuff. And two, definitely thinking that it's something that I would want to get in the event business, but just maybe encourage some people in the event business to do more of it here if it's going to be profitable for them.
Absolutely. And Joanna's already been doing that. So the next step, Joanna and I have already been looking at the actual permitting form and everything to make any corrections that we see on that. April the 1st, that first week in April, is when the city is going to formally announce that we're open for business now, and park pavilions and parks and Liberty Hall and all of those city-owned assets are now open and available for rentals. This piece of the switch to the CVB's role in all of this now is going to be announced in conjunction with that as a piece of that. So that should be moving forward in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if we could, again, just to shore up any details, get some board approval for this change in scope of work.
Right. This is a great opportunity to take the baton and run with it. We have great resources at the CVB of people who are very skilled at marketing and sales. And so every festival, every event is an opportunity for us to market the Nacogdoches, market ourselves, and get us in front of eyes. So that's the way I look at it. This is that everything we can be involved in and be seen in and do is good for the city of Nacogdoches, good for tourism in the long term, because they might come for the Blueberry Festival one day, and then several weeks later during the summer come and stay for the weekend because they had such a great experience. So we need to get in front of as many eyes as possible. And that's part of this, what this shift in scope is use our resources that we have at the CVB to help better promote and market these events that will down the road pay off in tourism directly. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve our scope and work of being, as Ms. Morgan put it, the tip of the spear in the events category in Nacogdoches.
Hey, John, this is Shirley. I move
Sure.
that we take on this new role of assisting with the permitting process or being the lead on the permitting process at CVB.
Ms. Shirley said it much better than I. So yes, that. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye or thumbs up. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Thank you very much. Very exciting. We're going to hit the ground running and move forward. Keep on moving forward.
Okay, and the last item under my report is, again, just some housekeeping. So we found out through the Daily Sentinel that there was going to be a Blueberry Festival this year. And that was before we knew of Governor Abbott's reopening of the state. So we had a few feelings on sort of being among the last to know. But moving forward, as your executive director, and in recognition of our fiscal status right now, I just want to make sure that we have board approval to move forward with our part of participation in the Blueberry Festival, which there are two arms of our participation. So there is the marketing and promotions side of it, which 100% we will do, but also we have this entity of the visitor center that has always historically been sort of a key positioning for the Blueberry Festival. Our electricity gets used for their vendor booths. Our electric bill, which the city is now paying as part of the subsidy, doubles for the month of June. Our janitorial supplies triple because of the restroom usage. And then I guess this year, and I would still want to do it just to be a good steward, having to reset the building so that we're open for business on Sunday for normal operations. Because of the pandemic, it would require a deeper clean. Blueberry Festival, we all recognize, staff recognizes what a boon it is for our community. It is great for Nacogdoches. Hotels don't really sell out necessarily, but they do fill up. So that does benefit us sort of tangentially, but by and large, Blueberry Festival for us is a loss. We lose far more than we gain financially, and this is only speaking from a financial status. So just I wanted to take it before board, just so that moving forward that we know that this was a decision that we entered into, that will be reflective of our budget as we reconcile that budget at the end of the year, but that this is a decision that was made with as much knowledge as we all have, that we will be participating in Blueberry Festival in a physical PH sense as well as a fiscal financial sense.
I just have a question related to how your all's comfort level with it. Is there anything that you need to feel safe and comfortable with the amount of people that'll probably be coming in and out of the doors? Like, how do you all feel about that?
Yeah, that was probably our biggest concern was, I mean, this is a big first event to have, inviting 20,000 of your, closest friends and strangers and that's just a lot. And this whole pandemic, we have really been doing, I feel, such a great job of responsibly promoting Nacogdoches as a destination and highlighting those activities and assets that we have, that we have more confidence in, the safety that they offer, along with the recreation that they offer to tourists. So, and like I said, since, the last 2 weeks, we've, the governor has opened everything up. That doesn't really assuage my discomfort, but it is one of those 6 of one, half dozen of the other kind of things. Like, yeah, the community really needs it. The community's really happy about it, but are they going to, gosh, it's dicey because I don't want to be a part of a super spreader event.
Well, it's several months away. It's not happening tomorrow, and it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the future. Certainly with the with that, so it is a fluid situation. I would think certainly, and I'm positive the city is going to monitor this, and if there is a safety concern for the public, it will be addressed. Yeah, I think a lot of people share the concern, and it will be hopefully they say by June we should have most of the what are the shots? Yes, we should. But anyway, we can't predict the future, but we will take every precaution, and we will monitor this and adjust if we need to. So
obviously it's still scheduled for the second weekend of June, as it always has been. Okay.
Yes. But on the global aspect of our refocus of our scope of work, this is exactly the kind of event I think the city wants us to be involved in, and to market. It's a great opportunity to get in front of 20,000 eyes, as was said there. So and promote our community for future visits. So Sherry, are you looking for a motion to be involved on both fronts in the Blueberry Festival?
Yeah, I would just like it formalized that board was made aware of the financial positioning of the CVB as it pertains to Blueberry Festival, and we choose to move forward in full promotion with that.
Well, I certainly motion that we that we are aware their promotion and involvement in the Blueberry Festival this year.
I would like to second that motion.
Okay. All in favor, thumbs up or yay? Any
Aye.
opposed? Nay. All right. Very good. Thank you very much. All right. Well, it looks like we'll move right into our sales and promotions with Miss Temple.
Yes,
Morning.
yes. Well, I've been quite busy. First off, I do want to let everyone know, if you didn't have the opportunity to come to the Knack Snack Friday, we are working hand in hand with our Main Street leadership, which is Jessica Sal and her assistant Bethany, who have been absolutely joyful to work with. We are working with them on their wine swirl, which will be April 9th. Am I lying? April 10th, which is going to be really our first public event. It is outside. The intention is 750 tickets. So this will be kind of our first step into more than usual, or maybe I should say the first approved event with 750 people. But I think we'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. Of course, we're involved in that in the evening with our facility open and all that kind of good stuff. So we're pleased about that. Also, just the Knack Snack Friday was a huge success. I don't think any of us realized how many people were going to come out. We had three food trucks. We had great entertainment. We pulled every chair and table we had. We probably didn't need to, but I wanted to because the age group was A to Z. And at the end of it, I announced I needed help. So we cleaned up within 5 minutes, everybody grabbing a table and chairs and putting it back downstairs. I think everyone was just quite pleased with being outside and enjoying the atmosphere. So this is something that will carry through October. In May, we're going to move the Knack Snack Friday music portion, which starts at 5, down to Festival Park. And the purpose is that is with the time change and the fact that it's blazing hot back there, shade, even if it's still hot as hell, the perception will be, we got shade. So that'll move down at 5 o'clock. The food trucks will move down. The entertainment will be on the stage. 2 of those events, the May event and the July 23rd event, we do have planned and have already committed 2 concerts. And the purpose of the concerts is the Knack Snack will anchor our Friday events or our Friday weekend, which is always what we want to do because most of the events that are planned, whether through the city, chamber, generally happen on a Saturday. So Memorial Day, which is Saturday, or I'm sorry, in May, that weekend that we're going to be doing things is Memorial Day weekend. And I have spoken quite a bit about how I want to anchor some of our summer events. This is our kickoff. If we're able to, we may do it again on Labor Day, but we're going to have one in July. We're bringing in tribute bands. I hope, I haven't had a conversation yet, to be working with the alumni, using these events as kind of a back win. So we're going to have an Eagles tribute band for Memorial Day. The way it rolled out is through Sherry's connections, the fact that these guys are SFA grads. We got one heck of a deal for the act, for sound, stage, lighting, and they are delighted to come. I've got a Airbnb set up for the whole crew. I've got the guy coming in next week so we can have the lay of the land. I met with Brian Bray. It's going to be a great event. We figure between 500 and 1,000. This will be a ticketed event, so we'll be able to control that as things like fold out with COVID and everything. and the ticket will have a dollar value to it. And that dollar value is going back directly to us. The monies that we're using to take care of the band and the lighting and some of the expenses will be from the profits that we made off of the movie. However, the intention is to create sponsorships, of which I already have. It's just a matter of, I needed to get the band, I needed to secure some things. And now I will be going and asking for some additional cost. It will not be a lost lead by any means. It hopefully will become something where we can make a little money. And at $10 a head, of course, at 500, that's going to be $5,000. At 1,000, it'll be $10,000. I've got lots of people playing with us and helping us. Kevin White is going to be our beer and wine distributor. And we've got, so he's already in the fold. He loves this idea of what we're doing. And it's really something I'm initiating. However, it's not something that we have to necessarily keep. We can create, give it away. It's just something that will help our 3-day weekend and our summer business. So I think that covers it. We did great on the movies. We finished up this past weekend. Of course, that was a really nice profit maker. We don't refund tickets. So we make clear that it is a contribution to the CVB as a fundraiser. The same will go into place with these concerts. And there's just lots of other things that we're involved in because we now will be the point person for events. Is there any questions or thoughts or concerns?
I really like it. That is kind of what I was angling on earlier. And I love that Kevin's going to be able, that it works out so that beer and wine will be available to people who want that. I did want to ask, are any of y'all, and probably every single one of you are, but are any of y'all on that, you went to SFAF?
We are, and
That has been a big money, it's just been a big money generator for a lot of businesses.
we are, and Ashley's been in communication with our partners at the alumni, and they want to not use that as a site where we're in any way soliciting. However, the value of the 80s and the 70s and the Eagles, that touches a lot of folks that back in that period may want to come and see this particular concert as a reason to have a reunion, a mini reunion. Call your Pete. We are going to present to them and see how we can best play with the alumni because we just think it's a natural. The July band is a 80s tribute / cover band. They're going to cover the gamut. That, touches people's Ashley's age as well as those of us that grew up in the 80s. And so they're just a natural to play with. So we look forward to having that conversation, Damon. And we just think, again, it's a natural. And there's no reason in our own marketing we can't mention, come back to Nacogdoches, have a great time. John, I have been in communication with your folks. I hadn't heard back yet. Love to have a partner hotel. This is a great idea for a package. We're going to have music Friday night. We're going to have music Saturday night. The Cottage is interested in bringing in some jazz or gospel on Sunday. It could really be positioned as a music weekend for everyone. And if we can, which I know the downtown merchants are interested in, if we give them heads up, there's nothing opposing them or keeping them from being open on Sundays and Saturdays. We just got to give them a reason why. And two, and if we're selling tickets, it's just going to be a counter, just like the Wine Swirl. We'll have a heads up. We've already gotten our graphics done, our logo. Ashley's ready to create a ticket. We can get it out on Eventbrite, start selling. I mean, we're ready to go.
Awesome. Oh, that'd be fantastic. All right. Thank you. Any questions for Miss Temple before we move to the other Miss Morgan? Ashley, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Fantastic.
Awesome. So just to go off of what Joanna was saying, I'm excited about the tickets because we're going to print physical tickets. So it's old school and retro. And when people purchase them on Eventbrite, we will mail them to them, or they can pick them up at the CVB when they get here. But we're just excited to have it be a really authentic, nostalgic experience. And Damon, I'm glad you brought up that group because that's something that we've been kind of strategizing on. But I got some insight from our friends at the Alumni Association that they do not like sales, promotions, advertisements, stuff like that. They very much like things to be organic and kind of, just happen naturally. They don't want to be told what to do. It needs to be somebody else's idea, basically. So we have a couple people in the group that don't necessarily associate themselves with the organization they're with. So we're hoping to basically have those people kind of sneak in and post about the event, and hopefully it'll catch on organically. So, but yeah, so moving on, we had a travel blogger come through town. She is actually originally from Nacogdoches. She grew up here, but she now works at the Shreveport Convention and Visitors Bureau. So she was familiar with how CVBs work and what we're looking for. And she had that inside knowledge of Nacogdoches. And so when she approached us on Instagram, it kind of seemed like a slam dunk. We were like, this is a perfect way to break into the travel influencer world. And so we entered an agreement with her where we paid her $200, and she went to so many of our partners here in Nacogdoches, including Naca Valley and the Fredonia Hotel. So thank you, Wanda and John, for your contributions to her having a great time and getting some great content. She did an Instagram takeover on our Instagram and posted, I think, 9 posts. And she's working on a travel blog that will be posted later on. And then she also posted on her own profile, so we got that extended reach. And she posted a video of, can't remember the number, but it was like 7 best things to get at Horse Bakery, and it got over 20,000 plays. And so just for a little bit of context, usually our videos get about 1,000 plays, and so 20,000 is huge. And that was all people in her market, which is in Shreveport, which is one of our drive markets. So all around, I feel like it was a great opportunity, and I'm excited to get more of those, hopefully. And I learned a lot from Shalisa as well. She taught me how to better use Reels on Instagram, and that's something that I kind of want to break into because when we post photos and they get like 100 likes, that's great. But with the videos, we can see 1,000 people watch this video, 20,000 people watch this video, and we get a better idea of what our reach is. So I felt like that went really well. And let's see, we placed some ads in Texas Monthly and Texas Events. The one in Texas Monthly was unfortunately about azaleas, which we are all not too happy about right now. But we are hoping for the best and also coming up with some ideas to still have an azalea season, whether or not we have any blooms. And our ad in Texas Events, fortunately, was about our summer concert series, and that's relevant. That's not going anywhere, so we're excited about that. Lastly, I posted something yesterday that has gotten a lot of engagement and interest. It's itineraries, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but the pandemic kind of got in the way of that because if there were any events, we didn't know about them until like the weekend of. But we're getting to a point where we are now aware of events further in advance, and so I posted this itinerary yesterday for the weekend of March 27th, which is 2 weeks away. Gives people a little bit more time to plan, and I want to start doing that, so I'm always putting something out 2 to 3 weeks in advance because people want that planning time, and plus our hotels book up. So just if you see that, give it a share, and also if you have any input, again, I want to feature things on there that people wouldn't normally think about, kind of like the hidden treasures of Nacogdoches. So I'm open to any ideas y'all have, and I'm going to rotate them out. So if you don't see your specific business on there this time, it'll be on there next time. Don't worry about that. With that, does anyone have any questions for me?
Ashley, I wanted to talk a little bit about azaleas.
Yeah.
What we've got going right now is sort of taking ownership of and acknowledging the winter storms and its effects. So we are going to be having, instead of the Azalea Trail, the Azalea Fail 2021 Pinkapalooza. And we've got pink light bulbs, incandescent light bulbs that we're going to be selling here for people to put in their porch lights. We've got pink Christmas tree lights if people want to zhuzh up their hedges. We're going to ask the community to pink up their property, their mailbox, sort of along the lines of extending the Bert Rees lighting competition. But we're going to infuse Nacogdoches with pink. We're going to be doing a community paint by number azalea picture around the CVB. That's being ordered today. So we're trying to think of different fun activities centered around our pink azaleas that still will give people something just to have fun with it. And instead of being so sad that it didn't happen, to sort of have a placeholder while we wait for the great shows to come in the years to follow because of Mother Nature's natural pruning of our azaleas. So we've got a logo in the works, and we'll be utilizing our online store so that we're not spending, we'll still be able to have t-shirts, but without having to pay to have stock of those. But anyway, on a budget for sure, but have fun with it and acknowledge it and maybe do something a little different than everybody else is.
What's the timeline on this, all of this?
It's going to be in the next, it'll hopefully start in the next week and a half, and then it'll go through April. But we want to encourage restaurants and bars. The Fredonia did it without even knowing it with their launch of new beautiful cocktails. But we want, restaurants to have pink themed appetizers or food items or beverages. Just really, just little micro touches across the community to show that we are invested in the Pinkapalooza.
Yeah, and we'd love to have the shops paint their windows and just pink out like Sherry said. It would be really nice to get community involvement. So if y'all have any partners that are located in town or even Napa Valley, we'd love to just have the pink everywhere.
Yep. Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ashley. Is Mike around there? I saw him earlier. Is he? Mikey!
I'm here. It's what's left of me anyway. So, good morning. We continue to welcome visitors. Probably an average about 30 a day have been coming in. With this spring break, we've had families that are wanting to come and teach their kids about Texas history, which is really good. And I wanted to show you. I brought my azalea bloom out of my yard.
Here, put a little. There we go.
Oh, okay. See it? It's huge. So that's my blooms for the year of my azaleas right here. And we are having calls about the azaleas, and we're trying to paint as positive of a view as we can. That there's not going to be any this season, but come anyway and do our other things if we have to visit. So that's it.
Great. Thank you, Mike. All right. A lot of exciting things coming down the road for us in our community, and we will approach them with cautious enthusiasm, and we'll continue to present our community to those who are out there wanting to travel, and welcome them with open arms. And we're going to pink out. The front window of Fredonia was just decorated, and I believe its back base is pink. So awesome. We're doing our part to pink out. So does anybody have anything else before we close?
When will we be able to have our meetings in person again?
Well, I know the city council has resumed in person, correct?
They're hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, I think, 3 in person and then 2 conference in.
So Dr. Jack, I tell you what, we'll look at that and we'll see about our next meeting in April 15th. But we'll look at that and announce if we want to do a hybrid or something of that nature at that time. But we'll get back with you, Dr. Jack. Thank you. With that, I'll designate April 15th, 8:30 for our next meeting, and we'll see whether it's going to be Google, person, or hybrid. So thank you all for your participation this morning. A lot of good, exciting things happening in our great community. So, and I thank everyone for their hard work and continued dedication towards that. Thank you. Have a great day.